Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back for your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about the vast majority of crypto and finance. So with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. It was an eventful day in crypto today, or yesterday technically. And I feel as though I really need to reiterate what I mentioned all over X and also in my previous videos as we were getting closer and closer to these big announcements that were, getting touted around all over X and all over YouTube in the past 48, 72 hours. And it's all about this ETF drama. And I've been talking about it and I've been addressing it. The number one thing I said about this ETF stuff is that it's going to create the craziest FOMO event in history, leading to one insane sell-off. And we might even get a sell-off around the announcement. I said, make sure to have stop losses in place, stable coins on the sidelines, and your long-term positions locked in. They are leading the sheep to slaughter. And this is because we've seen CNBC calling for a $1 million Bitcoin. That's right. A $1 million Bitcoin with the spot Bitcoin ETF decision. Now, a few months back is when I came to the conclusion that this is going to be a manipulative event. Why did I come to that conclusion? Well, because one of the biggest things that we saw going around over on X was that $30 trillion is about to enter the market because everyone was just adding up the assets under management that these companies have. Mind you, these companies are not going to invest that money. It's ridiculous. People don't actually understand how ETFs work. They don't understand what's actually going on here. They're just trying to get headline articles written up. They're just trying to get clicks. It's ridiculous at this point. And even recently, January 9th, right? This week's Bitcoin ETF decision could drive the cryptocurrency to $200,000 in 2025, says Standard Chartered. So, listen, short term, I think that we have a great opportunity here because I do think that we are going to see volatility. This is going to be like peak volatility, in my opinion. We witnessed a few events leading up to what we saw recently. It was these articles talking about how Bitcoin's going to go to this price and go to that price. All of the bullish headlines from CNBC, from the mainstream media players. And then we even seen Jim Cramer saying that Bitcoin is topping out. That was his quote directly on Mad Money. By the way, millions of watchers of Mad Money. This guy's wrong 99.9% of the time. So when we saw this, of course, a lot of people from the space were probably going long on Bitcoin and saying, that's it. There's no way that Bitcoin drops. So listen closely to this.
Digital. What are we doing with these? Let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
Now, there you guys have it, right? So Bitcoin is topping out. Now, the big thing about this, right, is all of the bullish indicators were technically there for everyone who was following the herd and following mainstream media. So maybe they set up a few longs. Who knows? Maybe they even bought heavy spot bids, right? Then we get this. Today, the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listings on all registered national securities exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. And here we actually have a technical quote from Gary Gensler. Today's approval enhances market transparency and provides investors with efficient access to digital asset investments within a regulated framework. And you can see that this had well over 200,000 plus views upon them posting this. Now, we did get confirmation that this is from a compromised account. But I'm not believing this. I'm having a very hard time believing this statement. We know Gary Gensler's past in crypto. We know the SEC Gov's past in crypto. We're seeing the SEC Gov Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. The SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. So let's get this right. All right. We get the post from the official SEC account and then this post by Gary right at resistance on Bitcoin. I mean, it could not be set up any better. I keep telling you, it's all manipulation. Stop feeding into the noise and focus on what matters. And here we have the timeline. SEC hack timeline. 311. SEC Gov tweets all Bitcoin ETFs are approved. 326. Gary Gensler says SEC account was hacked. 338. SEC regains control of their account and deletes original tweet. 342. SEC tweets they were hacked and have not approved ETFs. Something is fishy. And yeah, it really is. And here you guys have, again, moments later, right? I just showed you guys this one that had 242,000 views. This one had 3.2 million views. That's how fast this spread all over X. Over here, we have, again, it was compromised, whatever. Then we have the deleted post, 4.6 million views. Look at all of the reposts, the bookmarks, the quotes, the likes. I mean, this blew up. Then, of course, the SEC Gov X account was compromised and an unauthorized post was posted. The SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. Now, a lot of people are saying, technically, he never said it was hacked or that they lost control of the account, but it was compromised, right? It's interesting that it could have been compromised by an internal individual, but we don't know, right? We don't know what's going on here, but one thing that comes to mind is the SEC Gov and Gary Gensler. Listen, you got to remember, the regulators are bought and paid for. I've said this since day one. Think about it. If BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, these large corporations, if they own pretty much everything, if they control pretty much everything, what makes you think that them lining up for crypto, specifically BlackRock, right? Because we haven't really heard much about Vanguard. State Street's been around the space for a little bit of time, but it's mainly all focused on BlackRock because they actually filed the spot Bitcoin ETF. What makes you think that all of these Wall Street giants that did apply, Fidelity, you name it, what makes you think that they are not manipulating the market and utilizing all the tools in their arsenal to shake as much retail out as possible, get cheap Bitcoin, hell, who even knows, cause as much pain as possible? Everything that we have witnessed up until this point has been a manipulative tactic. We have Bitcoin over here. This is moments leading up to it. Boom. 2.78% pump. Again, this is resistance. It was all at resistance. Boom. 6.62% drop immediately as well. Now, this was not after we got the tweet from the SEC account saying that it was compromised or even Gary Gensler. No. What this tells us is that the SEC did not cause this dump. What happened was we had to sell the news event. Listen, the ETF news, the ETF announcements, it was so obvious that this was going to be a manipulative event, but also it was going to be a sell the news event. It doesn't mean that we need to sell, and I'm not advising that anyone sells. I'm not giving out any financial advice here. I already mentioned what we should all be doing here. We should have stable coins on the sidelines to buy any major price swings down if we have a crash. We should already be in our long-term bags from late 2022 into early 2023 that we stacked up, we should have stop losses in place, and we should make sure that we have proper risk management already there. We should already be prepared for a massive sell-off or a massive pump. You can't play this 100% perfectly, but you can prepare for both sides of the spectrum. Now, outside of this, right, we got a full announcement that Elon Musk is investigating the SEC hack, or at least X is investigating the cause of the hack. And this is definitely going to be very, very interesting. Again, we don't know what's going to come from this. But let's talk about a few things here. Let's talk about what happened leading up to this so-called compromisation of the SEC's account. Better Markets now dropping their comment on why the SEC should deny, arguing that the grayscale court decision should not compel the SEC to deviate from the previous well-grounded decision, disapproving multiple spot Bitcoin ETF or ETPs. And again, we were looking into this because a lot of people were still submitting those public comments asking for rejection of all spot Bitcoin ETFs. This was January 5th. Shortly after, we got confirmation that Elizabeth Warren loves Better Markets. And she even gave them recommendations that they're doing a great job to protect, the U.S. economy and investors. And they're even, playing they're trying to level the playing field for the middle class. What a clown show, right? But beyond this, we also know that Elizabeth Warren has been working with Gary Gensler for a very long time. You guys probably know about this video. Let me play the clip for you guys just so that you can know exactly what's been going on.
And a follow-up, quote, "Let me know if it's looking like the chair has any issue with the framing of the questions. Definitely don't want to put him in a tough spot," end quote. And it appears the chairman didn't have any issue with these questions because Senator Warren asked almost verbatim from the email. Check this out.
Chair Gensler, advocates say crypto markets are all about financial inclusion, but the people who are most economically vulnerable are the ones who are most likely to have to withdraw their money the fastest when the market drops. Does this sound like the path to financial inclusion to you?
So there you guys have it. And again, this is directly from Elizabeth Warren emailing Gary Gensler the exact questions that she is going to ask him, and even the answers to them as well. Now, mind you, she is a pro banker. Gary Gensler, like I said, bought and paid for. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of manipulation. Again, a lot of this is my opinion, but I feel as though we can get to that point and come to the conclusion that, yeah, there's a lot of money getting thrown around here. I mean, the guy's worth over $100 million. I mean, let's be real. These people are making money somewhere beyond their actual position. But also, Elizabeth Warren's bill, that, by the way, does have support from nearly 20% of the Senate, the anti-money laundering bill. That is technically just a blatant crypto ban. Guess who helped draft the bill? Oh yeah, that's right. The American Bankers Association. There is a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack. But going all the way back to the middle of 2023, if you were around during that time, you should have been around during that time. There was so much scrutinization of crypto because banks were starting to crumble and they were trying to point the finger at something, and crypto was the obvious one to point at, saying, oh, it's high risk, it's causing so much mayhem, it's this, it's that. They were even trying to connect the banks back to crypto, and again, it was just all trying to paint crypto as the bad player. And even Elizabeth Warren has been campaigning this, and now Gary Gensler has even more ammunition technically. What he's going to say with this, compromise of his account, or the SEC account, is this is what you could expect by being in crypto. You could expect that there's going to be manipulation at the highest degree, that, actual government accounts are now getting hacked and compromised, and they're getting utilized for market manipulation and this and that. All this does is fuel the fire. That's all this really is. Now, like I said, I personally believe that this is all part of the plan. And who knows, right? They could even be preparing to deny these Bitcoin ETFs. We don't know what's going to happen. That's why I say you never know what's going to happen leading up to these big events that are getting touted around, getting talked about heavily all over mainstream media, talking about a $1 million Bitcoin, a $200,000 Bitcoin. I haven't seen the $500,000 Bitcoin calls. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, both sides of the path here, if you were even long or even if you were short, you technically got screwed on these two wicks. Depending, of course, if you had stop losses in place or what your leverage was. But this, in my opinion, is clear market manipulation. I personally believe that we are not being manipulated by insiders in crypto, but we are getting manipulated by those outside of crypto trying to cause as much harm as possible to the retail sector while touting that they're trying to protect us. But also, I feel as though Wall Street is in control right now. And I even had an individual from the Discord, an individual that I actually work with, Encrypt30, he even said, so you are in charge of protecting investors yet cannot keep a Twitter account secure? I'm sure that we are safe. 100% was not an inside job. No. I mean, let's be honest. You're a puppet after all, getting whipped like by Wall Street, right? Like when we look at Gary Gensler and when we really look at what's going on, I mean, this is all pure manipulation, and we need to be extremely cautious. We need to be extremely vigilant, and we need to be taking all measurements of risk management into considerations here. Because, again, I'm already seeing it. Oh, Bitcoin ETF approvals are going to happen today. They're going to be trading by Thursday or Friday. That is not how ETFs work. It's not how they work. We have witnessed them in the past. It takes time for them to be fully set up. I don't think that we get approval, and I don't think that we get trading as fast as everyone is expecting. Again, I'd love to be wrong, simply because I am very bullish. I'm in my long-term hold still. I'm not leveraged. And again, I'm feeling very confident about the rest of the year. I'm very bullish on the rest of the year because everything has been pinpointing to that. They're going to continue leading the sheep to the slaughter, shaking out as much people as possible, and also liquidating as many as they possibly can as well. So be cautious out there. Be careful, guys. The ground's out there. It's a breeding ground for manipulation. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter, enter the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.